Electronic Entertainment Expo is officially canceled for good.
Today, E3 announced they are permanently closing their doors.
Let's talk about E3 as it does appear that the big trade show.
E3 is officially never coming back.
The slow demise of E3 has reached its inevitable end.
Hello, I'm Heather.
And I'm Craig, and today is a truly sad day for the gaming industry.
We are recording this on the 13th of December 2023 after hearing the terrible news of the permanent cancellation of E3, following years of cancellations and attempted restoration following the COVID pandemic.
If you are a young gamer, then you will not understand the significance of this gaming trade show, but pre-COVID, E3 was like gaming Christmas. Announcements, reveals, trailers, performances, speeches, commerce, trade stands. Industry professionals and gamers alike came together to celebrate all things gaming. Despite the common belief that gaming is merely a passive mockable hobby, for virgins, the global video game industry is worth billions and continues to grow.
We are both personally dismayed over the news of the death of E3, since we are new industry professionals who would give anything to have attended one of these events in its prime. So, to mark the funeral of E3, we wanted to honour the moments that we consider the greatest. So, here we go. Here's our pick of the top 10 best E3 moments.
Starting off our list is a slightly cringing yet endearing moment in E3 history with the announcement of Twilight Princess in 2004. This reveal came hand in hand with Nintendo's legendary Shigeru Miyamoto brandishing the Legend of Zelda Master Sword and Shield. His enthusiastic display to show off this new direction for Zelda was contagious, albeit comparable to an embarrassing dad moment, one I hope to replicate in the future. Sorry, daughter of mine. You only have to see some future appearances to know that he enjoys making a fool of himself on stage and being viewed as silly and playful. A nice contrast to other industry professionals who fear not being viewed as serious and professional.
Although I did not witness this moment firsthand, it has become as iconic as the weaponry Miyamoto wielded. As a Zelda fan since the humble N64 days, I find this moment very amusing yet understandable. This darker tone Zelda installment of Twilight Princess turned out to be my second favourite Zelda game after Ocarina of Time. Because let's face it, how many games out there allow you to transform into a wolf at will and view reality through Animagus eyes? This moment of E3 has been mocked by even the man himself, who continues to innovate given the direction Zelda has now taken.
In order to grow, Link must not stand still.
Breath of the Wild has thrust the series to new heights, and I will never understand why Tears of the Kingdom didn't win Game of the Year.
Continuing the cringe train at number 9, we have the live demo for Uncharted 4 of E3 2015. We see Nathan and Victor coming out of a church and into a market district, which is a beautiful rendering that showcased what the PS4 was capable of. And, after looking out at the horizon, Victor says, "Follow me," and moves through the hustle and bustle of the district. But of course, Nathan does not follow him.
Instead, there is an awkward 30 seconds of Nathan Drake experiencing stage fright as he stares longingly at the citizens going about their day before the screen cuts to black. It was revealed in an interview with the developers at E3 that there was a controller malfunction and the live demo didn't work. How embarrassing.
This is memorable for two reasons, the first and most obvious being that this was capping off Nathan Drake's adventure with something of a whimper. The other is that this was a great cutscene to gameplay transition, and it's really unfortunate that the demo went awry. This was a rare misstep for Sony and Naughty Dog, as most of their presentations were usually flawless, but what makes this all the more cringy and funny is the epic build-up followed by this hilarious flaccidity.
I've never been that keen on the Uncharted games, but this moment is brilliant nonetheless. Naughty Dog owned this debacle with the inclusion of a trophy in the released version of the game aptly named Stage Fright. To get this trophy, you merely have to mimic the live demo and stand still in the same place for 30 seconds. One of the easiest trophies you'll ever unlock, but a confusing one if you didn't watch or know about E3.
These next two entries are ones that are much more personal to me than Heather. At number 8 is the reveal of the Insane Trilogy at E3 2016. This was a big deal for me. I did a whole video for Crash's 25th anniversary in 2021, breaking down the history of the character and what he means to me as a whole. In that video I said that after Crash Bash, I never really liked the Crash games that followed, due to them having weird gimmicks and odd redesigns, so I was so excited to see this announcement.
It started with Sony's Sean Layden walking onto stage with a silhouette of Crash being his shadow, the live orchestra lovingly playing the opening notes of Crash's now famous main theme. The only thing that's really weird about this is that the crowd don't seem to react at all, at least initially.
That we work with our partners at Activision, who are going to bring back the original Crash, Crash 2, and Crash Warped, fully remastered from the ground up for PlayStation.
I don't know if this is because I'm a huge Crash fan, but I would only have to hear 1 second of that song and I would have lost it in that crowd. What also makes this reveal so great is that they say that Crash is first coming to Skylanders before his main release, and no one in the crowd could give a crap.
Imaginators. So let's have a look at that.
I'm more of a Spyro girl, but even I was excited for the remaster, which removed some of the aspects of the original trilogy I disliked, such as having to start entire levels from the beginning to complete bonuses. Looking at you, Crash 1. But this isn't about the game itself, just the announcement, which was unexpected and insane. Yeah.
At Activision.
Now, even though this next entry isn't at number 1, this is definitely the one that's the closest to my heart, and that's the Halo 3 reveal trailer at E3 in 2006. The original Halo trilogy will always be special to me. I have fond memories of playing the first game on the original Xbox in split screen with my brother, and these are memories I truly cherish.
The first Halo game was very well received, and Halo 2 continued to innovate as great pioneers of online console gaming. Halo 2 really solidified the original Xbox as a console powerhouse, and then there was next to nothing until Halo 3 cinematic trailer dropped at E3 a few years later. Halo has never been my thing, but for Craig and other Halo fans, there's so much to talk about.
Indeed there is, and sorry if I come across as all gushy, but this really meant a lot to me back in the day. I have never been more excited for a game as I was for Halo 3, and I still stand by that. Don't get me wrong, there are games that have come out since then that I love and adore, but I was never excited for them in the same way as I was for Halo 3. And for me, it definitely delivered. I loved everything about this game. The campaign, I loved the achievements, I loved the gameplay, the online, the matchmaking, and forged creations that players made.
But going back to the reveal, again it was another weird one, just like Crash, where the crowd don't seem to react. And I don't get why, considering Halo was, and still is, huge. I remember back in my teen years all the boys losing their minds over Halo and the revolution that was online console gaming, and the Halo 3 reveal was at the peak of the series' popularity.
Over at number 6, we have something of a bittersweet entry in hindsight. Back in the year of 2015, Bethesda were riding high with success after success. Morrowind, Oblivion, Fallout 3, Skyrim and The Elder Scrolls Online had been out for a little over a year. They also hadn't been snatched up by Xbox yet, so whatever they were going to reveal was going to be available to the masses, and boy did they deliver.
There were at least 3 games they revealed that are worthy of mentioning. The first was Dishonored 2, a sequel to Arcane Studios' steampunk stealth adventure romp. The next one was a huge one, and the one that actually kick-started their presentation, and that was the first reveal of Doom. Before this, the franchise had been largely forgotten, except to talk about how it helped pioneer the first-person shooter genre that is now the most dominant genre in gaming.
So to see this was epic. Me and Heather both loved the chaos that is Doom. The fast-paced, frenetic energy of the release game is not really shown in the highlight, but the core of what the game is there.
But, of course, the big moment at this presentation was the reveal of Fallout 4. Todd Howard does a great job of teasing the audience with the reveal of the game, showing concept art for many locales and assets that we see in the completed game. We also hear the main theme for Fallout 4 play throughout, and this all leads to the gameplay we see, and it's basically the intro of the game, something that is rare to see in any of these presentations. We also get to see the world of Fallout pre- and post-nuclear war.
And then the feather in Bethesda's cap is revealed. This game will release November that same year. This was so unheard of, even nowadays in showcases. Games rarely ever release the same year they are announced, so this all made us drop a mini nuke.
Our halfway point is probably the most memed moment of E3 with the surprise appearance of everyone's favourite uncle Keanu Reeves. Keanu was brought in to announce the official release date of Cyberpunk 2077 as a character who appears in the game. The initial release date got pushed back because of COVID, and that was the first of many issues that plagued this game.
Alright, I gotta talk to you about something.
But we're not really here to talk about Cyberpunk because holy shit, Keanu Reeves was at E3.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Keanu is like the nicest, most unflappable and humble guy in Hollywood, making him naturally lovable. Not to mention he is good looking, never seems to age, and is, you guessed it, breathtaking.
You're breathtaking.
Like Miyamoto at entry number 10, Keanu's infectious enthusiasm about the game is brilliant. It is just so unfortunate that, even though Cyberpunk 2077 now resembles a half-decent playable game, it was released in such a shoddy state, and Keanu Reeves ended up being the poster boy for this. Yes, the cinematic we see looks awesome and nothing like the release, but of course this is all about Keanu. Seeing him live on stage was just so awesome. There had never been another A-list actor to ever grace E3. The only person that comes close was when The Rock appeared alongside Bill Gates to unveil the new Xbox console, but before he was an actor and just ran around in Speedos. And now sadly, there never will be again.
Please welcome Keanu Reeves.
PlayStation 4 won't impose any new restrictions on the use of PS4 gamers.
Next up is one hell of an epic mic drop by Sony at E3 in 2013, who merely had to exploit the massive hole that Microsoft dug for themselves in the months leading up to the event. 10 years ago, Microsoft caused a global outcry over the introduction of DRM measures that required players to always authenticate online and intentionally restricted pre-owned sales, making it impossible to share Xbox One games.
This was basically an attempt to destroy the second-hand gaming market despite the ability to lend, share and resell games being of incredible importance to their target market. This controversy gave Sony all the fuel that they needed to secure E3 success by simply mocking this ill-advised decision that was clearly made by corporate suits who are not gamers.
I am mostly a PlayStation and Switch player, but when I heard the news, I remember thinking how much of a bonehead business decision that was. But it did lead to one of the best E3 presentations ever, where Sony jeeringly states that their console can do everything that Xbox was trying to restrict. The footage that shows two people handing a physical copy of a game to each other and then smiling happily at the camera was actually hilarious and made me love Sony even more.
Same. Thankfully, this public roasting did result in Microsoft doing a complete 180 on this, and we can all still share, resell and lend out games at our discretion. Although forcing CEX to go bust would not have been completely terrible, since they buy games for pennies and massively inflate the resale price. Remember when second-hand PS5 consoles were sold at CEX for £700? Almost as foolish as Microsoft's DRM bullshit.
Now this next entry is pretty epic, and I am so gutted that I never got to witness this myself. The God of War 2018 reboot reveal at E3 in 2016 began with a fantastic, grandiose orchestral performance of the God of War main soundtrack by Bear McCreary, which has now become an iconic composition that always gives me goosebumps.
At the time, people didn't yet associate this piece of music with the game, but the performance was so powerful that it certainly whet gamers' appetite for the reveal to come immediately after, with audience members shouting, "Show me, show me!" Either that or they are shouting, "Sony, Sony." It's difficult to tell, but either way the audience seems very excited.
The reveal trailer opens showing Atreus playing with figurines. The anticipation can be greatly felt and the audience have no idea what they're seeing, until an aged Kratos emerges from the shadows like a complete badass with the deep voice of Christopher Judge, arguably the most perfect voice actor casting in gaming history. The audience absolutely loses their minds.
Nobody, even Santa Monica Studios, based on this epic reveal, knew back then how significant this franchise would become. This was a great risk, and one we went into more details with in our video of games that changed format successfully. See that for more info. A great decision was to introduce the Leviathan axe and keep the Blades of Chaos, Kratos' iconic weapons, a secret. The E3 audience are blown away by the enemy encounters shown in the reveal, as well as the ability to throw and recall the axe. The only way this reveal would have been better is if the curtains behind the orchestra was to slowly open to reveal something, like a distorted God of War logo slowly coming into focus, or something else that would be a telltale sign of what's to come.
This one is actually very special to both me and Craig as massive God of War fans, and we were really pleased that, in retrospect, the game received the awesome comeback performance it deserved. Although the trailer and gameplay footage shown was largely not featured in the game, it was an excellent, honest demonstration of the game on offer. No lies, no release date pushback, no inflated promises, just the masterpiece that is God of War. Our second to last entry returns to Sony and their ability to make other companies look like utter prats. But this time, it's the first time they did an epic improvised mic drop.
And of course we refer to that time Sony decided to just quote the $299 price of the PlayStation 1. This massively undercut Sega, who represented their primary competition at the time with the Sega Saturn, and their pricing was getting a little cocky. It really was an epic moment. Sony was a new gaming industry player in 1995, and it's arguable that this moment henceforth solidified their presence.
The best thing about this is that you can clearly see that the presenter came with a lengthy speech prepared, carrying all his papers, and he just decided on the spot that quoting just the price would make Sony win E3 that year. And they did. They also owned the gaming industry for years to come.
Short entry this one, but it's only a short clip you can easily find online and is well worth watching just for the balls this guy had.
Before we get to our number one entry, we just wanted to mention that time that Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney graced the stage of the 2009 E3 press event to introduce the Beatles rock band, because holy shit, it's Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney.
It was actually a terrible presentation, but a surprising incredible bill that also include that wobbling weirdo Yoko Ono and Olivia Harrison. Again, the audience were like bored zombies. What is it with these people? Is it possible that these young'uns don't know who these megastars are? Because if so, we have all failed.
On to our number one pick. Genuinely no E3 audience and online reaction compares to the madness that ensued during and after the reveal of the Final Fantasy VII Remake in 2015. People cried, screamed, threw their underwear on stage and jumped up and down on their sofas like Tom Cruise in Love. Well, not really, but you get the point.
Most people were frozen in disbelief with mouth agape, and I'm sure this healed the wounds of the heartbreaking mediocre remaster Final Fantasy fans were given when expressing a desire for a remake. A remaster was not what they meant. This is what they meant. Everyone was so stunned that a from the ground up remake was happening for what is arguably the most beloved video game of all time. The internet pretty much exploded.
At E3, hardcore fans of Final Fantasy VII recognised the game immediately from the wide shots of the setting, the playground, the flower, and then came Barrett's arm and Cloud's Buster Sword, and all became clear to even those who aren't fans of the original Final Fantasy VII game. Only a short teaser was shown, but that was enough to create such a buzz around what was to come.
Information about the game was dished out slowly, and the excitement from E3 carried over to the trailer released at E3 in 2019, and the reveal of fan favourites Tifa and Aerith, or Eris. I do remember people being sceptical about the remake though, but I think it's safe to say Square definitely delivered, although we're criticised for going into too much detail in some places. If you haven't played the game or have lived under a rock these last 5 years, just type into YouTube reaction videos and you will see the torrent of emotions from gamers the world over who could not wait to play this game all over again.
So there we have it, 10 moments from E3 throughout the years that we consider to be the best and most memorable. We are so sad to see the end of E3, but considering that most companies post-Covid discovered that they can save a big chunk of money by hosting their own showcases, this was a predictable outcome.
The saddest part about this is that the excitement and energy from a live audience for new announcements and trailers have been replaced with clinical, interactionless, corporate-style presentations, and the Game Awards' attempts to fill the E3 void have backfired dramatically, due to placing more of an emphasis on advertisements and celebrities than actual award winners.
We do still have other showcases like Summer Games Fest and Gamescom, but none compare to E3. Perhaps someone else could come along eventually and fill that void, but only time will tell. Let us know in the comments what your favourite E3 moment was, and join us in paying respect to this historic trade show. I've been Heather.
And I've been Craig.
This is Amalgamingle, and thanks for watching.
The association says the last in-person E3 in 2019 attracted 66,000.